Well, PSA has lowered prices to $30 a card. All good news, right? Wrong. Hello to all my sports card collectors, investors, all of my collectibles friends. We are back again for another video, another day, another card video. How is everybody doing? I hope everyone is having a good day, good week. Starting off a good week here. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button for almost daily sports card collectibles content. Visit me on IG at Sports Card Dad. I'm also on the old Twitter machine, the Sports Card Dad. PSA has lowered prices. I made a video on this, maybe 4 weeks ago when PSA had announced it would be $50 a card unlimited. So remember, that was just the recent news. And I kind of pointed out in that video that was really an opportunity missed. I thought that PSA could have dropped their prices a little bit, had a little bit more excitement. Instead, it was just like, hey, same price point, $50, but it's just opened up to more people. Congratulations. Now everybody can get in on this $50 price point at a $999 declared value. And it's kind of like, okay, that's cool. And now I saw this morning $30 per card. I heard this first from Neo Cards and Comics, one of my hobby friends, and he just put out a video as well. I'll touch on some of the things that he said that I agree with and maybe some things that I don't agree with. And so what's the deal? It's $30 a card, but the declared max value on this thing, $299. Are you kidding? PSA, come on, $299. Why do you toy with us? Oh, and that's not all. It has to go through a bulk submitter, so this is not direct. You can't send this direct. And it has to be post 1996. And. So yes, it is a lower price point. Yes, it is a starting point. This is kind of like, okay, we're starting to get there. We're starting to get down. And this is kind of that first jump into the lower price point. Of course, it'll mean a lot of speculation about what does this mean for SGC or what does it mean for CSG or all the other grading companies. But I think the bigger question is, how does it affect PSA long term from a brand standpoint? This company has invested a tremendous amount into this infrastructure that they've got. Of course, Nat Turner and his group paid a lot of money to buy PSA. So you have kind of, there's a lot of things, a lot of moving parts here. They have a lot of bills to pay. They've hired a lot of people. They plan to hire a lot more. They're really investing big time into the infrastructure. And the one big thing, the one big narrative that has flown around over the last 2.5 years, and granted, I'm not going to pretend like PSA hasn't built a brand over time. They certainly have. I don't want to take away from that at all. I buy PSA slabs all the time. It's not a knock on the brand itself, but the one piece that's interesting is the amount of business that PSA received over the last 2.5 years greatly exceeds anything that they've ever received in the past. And you can say that about all the grading companies, but especially PSA. PSA has been the beneficiary of PSA is number one. That's been the big kind of narrative over the last few years. And they benefited the most from all of the COVID cards that went there, all of the pandemic, cards that went there during the shutdown and everything else. They have been the beneficiary of that business. And there has certainly been a shift. There have been people, yes, that have stayed on the PSA bandwagon. They've got registry. They've got different things that will always stay with PSA for resale. And that's totally fine. But there's also been people that have said like, hey, look, I've had cards there for 18 months. I might have cards there for 2 years before it's all said and done. And I'm not using them anymore. I'm going to use an SGC. I'm going to go with CSG. And that's it. So again, this kind of comes as a big nothing burger, but actually Neo brought up a very good point about the timing of this, about this announcement. Prism football just hit. And we know that there's a 440 card checklist with a billion different parallels and a $30 price point. Even with that max value at $299, that's actually right in line for this Prism stuff, I think, because you're going to have a ton of people that are going to want to send in this stuff. And PSA does not want all of that business or a lot of that business to go to CSG or to SGC, and so they don't want to lose that huge swath because they recognize we're not dumb here. You can recognize that a 440 card checklist with all the different parallels and the blah, blah, blah that's been printed, we're talking in the multi-millions, millions of cards that are being ripped right now, that are being opened, and they want to get them off for grading, some of them. And we're not even just talking about, think about not even just the base rookie cards, you Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, all the base rookie cards, all the different parallels from all this stuff. It's got to go somewhere. And a lot of people are going to want to go to PSA, but not at $50. Well, here you go. $30. The turnaround time, too, I should have mentioned, estimated 3 to 4 months, which, of course, is going to fire up all the people that have had cards there, but that's okay. And I believe that Neo had stated that this particular piece of business is not going to affect the backlog. So in other words, this stuff is not going to be put ahead of the backlog stuff, this new business that would be coming in. So I don't think it affects that. I think that honestly, PSA is going to have the backlog figured out here in just 2-3 months. I don't see it going past that. They will always have a backlog. They want to have a backlog. These grading companies want to have a little bit of a backlog. You don't want to have just, nothing. You got to have a little bit of something there, kind of in the in inventory, so to speak, to be graded. And so this is kind of the big move, I think, and I agree with Neo on this, for the Prism product to go to PSA. They do not want to lose that business. It's a ton of cards. It's a big, exciting release. And frankly, there hasn't been a lot. There's been so many different delays on new product. This is a big opportunity here for grading companies. And there's just not as many of these. You have the big Prism release, you have Topps Chrome releases, but this is, and it's just a massive checklist that's popular. That's the other thing. It's not a small niche product where they printed X amount of it. This is one of these like mainstream, they printed this thing, and so PSA does not want this business to go elsewhere. And so I understand the timing. It does all make sense, but it's still depressing that you've got it so limited here to 96 and newer. And then of course a max declared value of $299. Now my guess, like a lot of people are going to speculate probably the same thing, that they're going to do the same thing that they did with the $50 card where, $50 a card, people get used to $50 a card. All right, we're at $30 a card. People get used to $30 a card. And then they're going to say in 2 months, hey, max declared value on this is now $999 or whatever. They move that up. And then they say, yep, we've got turnaround time at 60 to 90 days instead of 90 to 120. And we're taking away the 1996 and newer. Now it's everything. Everything's $30. I'm speculating that'll be the announcement in 60 days, 45 to 60 days. I'm just guessing here. So what do you guys think? It is grading news. Another day, another bit of grading news. What do you think? Are you prompted to send in anything? Do you have anything in your collection that you're like, all right, this is going to fit. Now I'm sending it to PSA, or are you like, I don't care. This doesn't move the needle for me at all. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.